The wind bit at her skin, slicing through the fabric of her coat as she clutched it tighter. Anna's legs moved on instinct, boots pounding against the frozen ground as she ran toward the barn. The fields stretched out around her, cloaked in darkness, with only a flickering lantern swaying near the entrance, its dull light beckoning her forward like a distant promise. She reached the barn door, breath ragged, heart hammering so hard she thought it might tear free from her chest. Inside, the gentle sound of shifting hooves stirred the silence, as if he knew, as if he'd been waiting. Anna pushed the door open. The hinges groaned against the quiet, slicing through it like a warning. There he stood, Stellan, tall, still, his black eyes locked onto hers. She felt the air thicken around her, weighted with something too complex to name. "You were waiting, weren't you?" she murmured, voice barely audible. The horse tilted his head. A small movement, but it said everything. Anna stepped closer. The warmth of his body reached out to her through the chill. Her fingers brushed through his thick mane, and something like an electric hum traveled up her spine. It wasn't just warmth, it was presence. It was acknowledgement. It was everything she had been starving for. For the first time in years, she felt seen. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply. The scent of hay, of earth, of something raw and real. This barn, this horse, this stolen moment. It was the only space where she wasn't disappearing. Not like she had been with Lucas. With him, every day had become a ghost version of life. Conversations turned into calendar reminders. Touch into obligation. Love into absence. He hadn't cheated. He hadn't yelled. He hadn't even noticed she was fading. When he brought Stellan home, she thought it was just another expensive distraction. But somehow, in the quiet companionship of this creature, Anna found the echoes of something she couldn't define. Peace, maybe, or something dangerously close to it. Then there was Evelyn, the trainer with the eyes that seemed to read you before you spoke. She rarely said much, but when she did, it always stuck. That day by the paddock, Evelyn had watched Anna with a look that stripped away all pretense. "Horses like Stellan," she'd said, "know things we hide from ourselves. Sometimes it's loneliness that makes the strongest bond." Anna had laughed it off at the time, but the words had never left her. And now, standing inches from him, her hand against the steady thud of his heart, she knew the truth in them. "I wish I were like you," she whispered, resting her forehead against the warm curve of his neck. No expectations, no broken promises, just being. The wind howled again, but she didn't flinch. Something shifted. Maybe it was the way he looked at her. Maybe it was the chaos inside her finally spilling out. Maybe it was the weight of years spent starving for something she couldn't even name. Her hand slid up his neck, her breath catching, everything else fading into static. And then, a sound, a sharp intake of air, the creak of wood. Anna jerked away. Evelyn, framed in the doorway, her eyes unreadable but sharp as glass. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Anna's voice cracked before she could stop it. I wasn't... Evelyn stepped forward, slow and deliberate. "What do you think you're doing?" It was a simple question, but it shattered the moment like glass underfoot. Anna stumbled back, clutching at Stellan's mane, her anchor in the chaos. But the horse didn't move. His silence now felt different. Observing, not embracing. "You're playing with something you don't understand," Evelyn said, her voice low. "And once it burns, there won't be anything left." Anna wanted to defend herself, to scream that no one understood how hollow she'd become. But Evelyn's stare didn't waver. "You think Lucas doesn't notice?" Evelyn asked. "The way you are when you leave here? You think this stays secret?" Anna felt the heat rise in her face. Shame, fear, and something else. Something defiant. "Why do you care?" she snapped. "This is my life. You don't know what I've been through." "I don't," Evelyn replied, "but I know what it looks like when someone's tearing themselves apart to feel alive." And then, headlights, cutting across the fields like a blade, a car door, a familiar silhouette. "Lucas." Anna froze. "You need to decide," Evelyn said quietly. "Right now, before you lose control of everything." Lucas stepped into the barn. "Anna?" His voice was calm, too calm. She turned, eyes locking with his. His gaze shifted from her to Evelyn, then to Stellan. Something passed across his face. Doubt, suspicion, maybe even pain. "I couldn't sleep," she said, trying to keep her voice even. "I just came to check on him." Lucas didn't reply right away. The silence was deafening. "Is something going on?" Evelyn stayed silent. Anna could lie, or she could end it now. Tear off the mask, let the ugliness pour out. "I need to tell you something," she said. Lucas blinked. "Okay." Anna exhaled, trembling. "I've felt alone, Lucas, for a long time, and I've been searching for something to make me feel something, anything, and I went somewhere I shouldn't have." His eyes darkened. "Are you saying—" "I don't know what I'm saying," she interrupted, her voice cracking. "Only that I crossed a line I can't uncross." Lucas turned away, silent. She waited for the explosion, but none came. "Do you still love me?" he asked, his voice stripped bare. Anna looked at him, the question digging straight into her. "I don't know," she said honestly, "but I want to." Lucas stepped out of the barn without another word, disappearing into the shadows. Evelyn walked to her side. Her expression, once cold, had softened into something almost gentle. "You did the right thing," she said quietly.